What's up YouTube? This is going to be a guide on how to use Scovillain in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing some competitive movesets and some fun me movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, let me know about in the comment section. And if there's a set you think works pretty cool, you've been using it, maybe at one you didn't see here, tell me in the comment section too. And if these videos help you out, drop that like button on the video and let's get into it. So firstly, we're going to have a look at Scovillain's stats. It's got a nice special attack stat, which is pretty cool. The rest of its stats are sort of a little bit to be desired. The cool thing about its attack and special attack actually means it might run viable mix set too. So we'll get to that in a bit. So first set I want to look at is going to be a chlorophyll sweeping set. So for the purposes of this video, I'd be running this with a Torkoal with Drought, right? Or any sort of Drought Pokemon, and we'll use Torkoal as the example. So once the sun is up for 8 turns or 7 turns or whatever, this is when you'd swap this Pokemon in. This is where it does really shine. So it actually gets the move Growth, which is a really great move to use in the sun. So Growth will give it a boost in special attack by 2 stages, which is great. And it also gives it a boost in attack by 2 stages. So it does give it a chance to use a physical set too. In this case, we're going to look at a special set. So firstly, we've got Solar Beam, which is a very, very powerful move. It's 120 base power in the sun. You can fire it off constantly until the sun goes, which is really good. And with Life Orb there, it's going to be doing lots of damage. The other move we've got is Fire Blast. So we've got that Grass and Fire Stab. And I've got Terra Fairy on this, which is a little bit of a way to hit some other Pokemon, just for coverage reasons mainly. But there's a lot of damage you can be dealt with this Pokemon for sure. So with this moveset, EV spread, I've given it max special attack, modest nature, and I've dumped the rest into speed and a little bit in defense there. But yeah, with this set, this is going to outspeed virtually everything. It's almost going to have like 500 base speed at level 100. Yeah, it's going to be very, very fast, right? So not many things are going to be able to outspeed this. It's going to be hitting really, really hard too. So you're really maximizing its special attack and of course its speed with Chlorophyll. It does get some other interesting abilities like Moody, and it also gets Insomnia. But Insomnia, I probably see there as the least handy ability. I see Chlorophyll and Moody being probably the ones that'll be used the most. So there you go, a special sweeper, which it definitely can perform well on a sun team. So I'd recommend this on a sun team with Torkoal. So if you like sun teams, that would be the way to go. Next set that I feel would be quite viable on it, comparatively speaking, would be a Moody stalling set. We've got the EV spread on this one, max health, and I've got max speed, timid nature. So with the ability Moody, it's going to boost a random stat by 2, obviously except evasion, and actually that was nerfed a while ago, and it's going to -1 stat. So with Moody, a great move to have on it is Protect, right? So that's going to make this Pokemon bulky. It's going to make it really offensive too. So if you build a bulky and speedy to begin with, it actually works quite well. Now with Moody Pokemon and Protect and stuff like that, Leech Seed is a great move to use. We're going to use a Leech Seed and Substitute set here. So we've got the Leech Seed up, and then we can use Protect. So that'll heal the Scovillain, and it'll be boosting its stats there. It is based a bit on luck, Moody, but Moody is a pretty powerful ability, especially if you can get like a couple of defensive boosts or special defensive boosts. Suddenly it becomes very, very hard to faint, and with Leech Seed, that gives it sustain as well. So the other move I gave it there was Flamethrower. That's just a coverage move there. In case you come across a grass type Pokemon, you don't want to be stuck just having Leech Seed. You could really, really go Stolly and use Giga Drain on there. That could work too, but you have to watch out with any grass-type Pokemon. So if you can maybe take the grass-type Pokemon out the way, or any Sap Sipper Pokemon that you think are on the opponent's team before you'd use a set like that. So with this one, I build it bulky and speedy, but for argument's sake, you could build this one bulky too if you really, really wanted to. And yeah, you could even adjust it so it's like, oh, we're just going to build this run really defensive, and rely on this as a defensive wall, defensive Moody wall. That could absolutely work there. You may even get your speed boost back there through Moody as well, if you're lucky to. So I could definitely see like another variant of that working. And, grass Pokemon work pretty well as defensive walls too. So that's just a couple of options there for the EV spread, depending on what role you need on your team. Yeah, so give that one a go. It can be a bit of a pain. The weakness about Scovillain being a bulky set is its bulk isn't absolutely incredible to begin with. Its base health really isn't amazing, so you're really, really relying on Moody to give you a good stat there, like a defensive stat, a special defensive stat, those sort of things, you know. And then you got to wait around a lot, you know, and there can be a problem there with getting your health back. So even after, you know, a protect and leech seed, it can take a little while, and it can be worn down too. So that is a bit of a weakness there, but you know, it does have good potential at using a Moody stall set. So I'd say this special sweeper on a Sun team, or just in general, and this Moody stalling one are going to be your most competitive sets that you can use on Scovillain here. I do have a Spicy Extract set for doubles, which I'm going to go over in a sec, so that'll be a little bit of competitor there for VGC or whatever you're playing for doubles, so we'll get to that in a sec. But for singles, you know, and even for doubles, you could go about using this one too. That would be viable. Now, this can run specs. I have tried it out. Once again, it's nice to run this in a Sun team, which means you can make use of chlorophyll there. And, you know, with the choice specs, it hits some pretty nice special attack sort of stat there. So I've given this modest nature for the purposes of it being on a Sun team, and it's going to be outspeeding a lot. This time, I've given it some really extreme special attacking moves. I've given it overheat over fire blast. So, you know, with overheat and the Sun up with specs, it is spammable. You can use it twice in a row and not have to worry too much. After probably after the second one, then it's going to be quite diminishing, but you've probably taken a couple of Pokemon out or done some really, really hard damage there. Same with Leaf Storm here. Another similar sort of thing with Overheat. So some very, very powerful attacks there with Overheat and Leaf Storm. That's a way you can get around that with choice specs, especially Overheat, because when you got the Sun and choice specs, it's going to be hitting really, really hard. Now, I also popped on Fire Blast there. For that reason, it's nice with choice specs, but say the Sun's only going to be lasting for a few turns, or you want to have a little bit more longevity to the set, you can use Fire Blast on there too. And its special state is kind of barren too, as you'll get to see. I'll show you. I've given this Terra Blast Water too for a bit of surprise there, and a little bit of extra coverage against some Fire-type Pokemon, because Fire-type Pokemon do actually wall this. It can't really do much to it. So yeah, that's another option. I've just given this sweeping EVs as well. You can just dump the last into defense or special defense or whatever you need. Now, speaking of which, this could actually, I see this bound to perform in Trick Room too. If you do like to use Trick Room, let me make one up here on the spot. So imagine we want this as quiet nature, right? We want to give it some bulk. You could go ahead and use this as a choice spec set too. You could even use this as a Sun Sweeper too. So you could, you know, use the same similar set, but just make it a, make it a Trick Room user too. You could get rid of specs and make it Sweeper with Life Orb too. Another item you could give it if you want to run it in Trick Room. Room Service would be good there. There are a couple of Pokemon that definitely will be out at speed. That 75 is still kind of quickish. So with the Room Service, you know, not much will be outspeeding that. So you'll be hitting really hard there. You want to make sure if you got the Sun up, you don't give it chlorophyll, give it like Moody, you know, because you don't want to be obviously doubling its speed. Heck, you give it Insomnia if you really want to. Insomnia's just not that helpful on it because it's a grass type already, so it is immune to like Spore and things like that, and, you know, Powder and stuff like that. So I probably wouldn't even worry about Insomnia too much. I'd just be going with these ones. There's only like very niche sort of case where that would work. But yeah, that's what you could use for a Trick Room set. You can adjust the item if you want there. If you got 4 attacking moves, hell, you could even go like Assault Vest on there too for give it some extra bulk. So there's a lot of options you could use for that. Now, speaking of doubles, VGC, stuff like that, I've got a little bit of a set here using the move Spicy Extract. So Spicy Extract is a pretty cool move. It's signature to this Pokemon. So what it does, it raises the target's attack by 2 and it drops the defense by 2. So it is an interesting move. Now, this move, when you think about it, doesn't always have to be used on an ally. I mean, it'd be great on an ally. So any physical attacking ally would be great. You could give the your ally like any sort of like a white herb. If you're going to couple it with Scovillain, okay, say you don't want your defense dropped by 2, give them a white herb as the item, you use Spicy Extract on them, and then you could, you start attacking with virtually no drawbacks at all. However, something interesting here, if you know there's a, on the field, right, say if there's a Pokemon, it's primarily a special attacker, doesn't have any physical moves at all, you could drop their defense by 2, so you could make use of Spicy Extract against the opponent too. So it's a offensive move and a defensive move too, so it's kind of interesting. I've given this one typical sort of bulk and sweep here because we're more support on this set. We're not really going for damage. So I've got Spicy Extract. I've got Helping Hand too, which is really great. We've got Leech Seed for some recovery, and we've also got Fire Blast too. Now, you could give this full on it's all status moves if you want to get rid of Fire Blast and just have Protect with Moody, or you can give it Fire Blast so you've got a little bit of presence about you. So I've given it Moody. You could give that Chlorophyll if you really, really wanted to. But yeah, I think this is a set that would work. I've got Leftovers on there, so Leftovers and Leech Seed is some nice, definitely nice recovery. So you could get even rid of Helping Hand if you wanted to and give it Protect. So that could work. There's a lot of variations there you could use, but we're sort of looking at Spicy Extract there. So quite a cool move. It sort of reminds me of the move Coaching, but it's different, I like that you can use it on your ally, plus you could use it on the opponent too. So it's a very, very interesting move there. So something a little bit you could use there for doubles of VGC. I'm trying to think of some others. There's a lot of... There's not like specific Pokemon that would, really gel with it well. There's lots of Pokemon that could appreciate an attack rise, and you just give them a white herb too. So that's another sort of benefit you can use there. As for partners and stuff, I'm just thinking on the spot here. So this does struggle against fire type Pokemon, so you could definitely partner it with a water type Pokemon. That would definitely work too. Plus, with its grass, just as with its grass typing, I'm not just speaking about this set in general. In general, you could have that water type Pokemon there too, and then with the water type Pokemon, you've got a grass type Pokemon to help out its weaknesses and things like that too. That's another option you could absolutely use there. I'll do some dedicated counters and teammates and stuff as this video goes on, but yeah, just a little bit to think about there. Next set, obviously these last couple of sets, a little bit more memey sort of thing, especially this one. So it does get the move Ingrain, which I thought was really interesting. People don't really like to use Ingrain very much because it's kind of a gimmick. But what it does, right, it gives you a 1/16 of your health back each turn, and it stops you from swapping. So I thought, well, a Moody Pokemon doesn't really want to swap too much, does it? So how about we go Ingrain, Leech Seed, and Leftovers all at the same time for Mega Sustain? And then you could give it Giga Drain, right? And you could also give it Will-O-Wisp too, to make it really, really bulky against physical attackers, and you could really shut them down there. And you could get your health back with Giga Drain, and actually, this thing would be quite unstoppable. There'd be clean counters like Sap Sipper Pokemon, but I see this set, it is a bit of a troll set for sure, but once it got enough Moody boost up, same with any Moody Pokemon really, but especially this one, it's got crazy sustain, and it's going to be hitting like really, really hard too once you've boosted a special attack to max with Moody, and it's going to be very, very bulky too, the way that I've set it up there. So yeah, you could give this Moody troll a try. Obviously this one will take a fair while to set up, so you could also possibly, if you really wanted to, get rid of Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp is just there for initial, like if you're versing a physical attacking Pokemon, you can burn them, right? So that sort of frees you up a bit on the defensive side, so you're not going to get wrecked in a couple of shots there. But you could give that Flamethrower too, and just give it Leech Seed, Ingrain, Leftovers. So Flamethrower would be better late game, Will-O-Wisp would be better early game, so that would be how you'd run that set. So next one here, I've actually got a very nice set here. We've got a Mix Sweeper. So I did mention earlier on, we're going to throw back to the Sun Sweeper here. This is another variant, and this is a nice surprise. So it's a bit more gimmick because we're not relying on its beautiful special attacking moves like Solar Beam and Fire Blast. We sort of have to fall back to its physical moves for a Mix Sweeper. So the best grass move it gets is Seed Bomb. And the best fire move it gets on the physical side is Fire Fang. So that's why I've gone to choose Seed Bomb over Fire Fang, because Fire Fang is kind of weak on the physical side. Once again, I will show you the moves and stuff. So I've given it Fire Blast as a special move, Seed Bomb as physical, and Terra Blast Fairy as its special move too. So giving it some sort of way to like Dragon type Pokemon and things like that, and Dark type Pokemon. It is a good move to have anyway, regardless. I've given this Chlorophyll, so obviously this is for the Sun, and we've got Life Orb and Growth. So it's going to be doing crazy amounts of damage there. Especially Fire Blast is going to be like just popping off. You could easily adjust that item to whatever you wanted there. Maybe a Citrus Berry if you want to, set that growth up or give yourself a little bit of extra time. The EV spread, this one is fully relying on the Sun this time to boost up its speed. So I've given it Naive Nature, so we're boosting obviously its speed a little bit there. I felt giving it a attacking and special attacking nature, it might get outsped then. Even in the chlorophyll, some really fast Pokemon can outspeed double that. So that still hits it at a nice speed stat and max attack and max special attack. So completely sweeping set there and putting the last 4 into the speed. So I've given this a go. It actually works pretty well. It does fall down a little bit in terms of damage, but with growth, it does a lot. So growth will give it a +2. It's a bit like using Sword Dance and Nasty Plot in one turn. That's a very, very good move under the right circumstances. Of course, once the sun has disappeared there, it becomes very, very slow. So, yep, take that how you want it, but it would definitely take a few Pokemon at that for sure. Now, there are variants you could give the Sunny Day to. I also want to say on this set too, if you really don't care about Terra Blast Fairy, like I just want to do as much damage with Solar Beam and Fire Blast as possible, sure, give it a Sunny Day. That way you got a bit of a backup there so you can reset it up and then go for it again. I just sort of opened up the Terra Fairy too. It's not bad. You can get around maybe some super effective move fired your way and things like that. So yeah, that's Scovillain for you. Let's go over. So really this Pokemon, it doesn't have actually Grass and Fire actually isn't a bad typing. It really isn't in my opinion. It is weak to a couple of moves. I'd say like a Steel type Pokemon. Let me just think here. Corviknight would make a great... Corviknight's always such a great partner for so many Pokemon, but Corviknight would be a very, very nice Pokemon as a partner for Scovillain. Especially in singles, that would work very, very well. Covers quite a few of them weaknesses and things like that, so you could use that. As for doubles, I'm just thinking like a good water Pokemon. Because I quite like that that synergy with a water type. Dondozo would be pretty good there. Of course, if you're using Tatsugiri, it's probably not going to be working. But yeah, definitely a water type Pokemon could be a good partner there. Just covering any of those like type and synergy. There's so many that could work with Scovillain. Like I'm trying to think let's go like a physical attacking Pokemon. So as I'm thinking here, just on the spot, how about Palafin? So, if you're using Palafin and this at the same time, let's just completely make something up on the spot. I sometimes like making sets right up on the spot in the video because, it shows you my thought process and sometimes I come up with something really cool. So, we got Palafin here as a physical, let's say we're running that as a physical attacker. We can use that Spicy Extract set on the Palafin and Palafin could have, White Herb, right? And that would be pretty cool because then you could use Acrobatics. And we've got, Jet Punch is such a great move to run on it. And then we've got I like to run Drain Punch on it too. So you've sort of got this sort of setup here. And another move I like to quite run on it too. I like to run Terra Ground on it. It's quite a good type to actually run on it because you get around those, Electric type moves there, which, are quite easily drawn out. So we can go Terra Ground, and then we could even go Terra Blast on it. That could definitely work too. So we'll go Terra Blast. So I'm just thinking this up on the spot right here. It's pretty good. So we can go this is just a little combination. So we've got Spicy Extract, which is going to be good. They work well at the same kind of typing too. Covering each other's weaknesses and things like that. So you could boost up this Palafin hero and absolutely wreck. You could do it with any other physical Pokemon. I'm just using this as a example because they're of their typings and things like that. You've also got Helping Hand, kind of similar actually to the similar to this set here. That would work pretty well there. So that's something you could think about there if you want to boost up a physical attacking Pokemon. Very, very nice. A Steel-type Pokemon would be good there. Matter of fact, we'll have a look up here. I don't know how many Steels have got Ally Switch on them. We'll have a look. I don't think there's any currently at the moment. But, Steel-type Pokemon would be really, really good there. Those flying moves are a bit of a pain, too. So you could go... Actually, Bronzong isn't all that bad. So if you had, Bronzong, that would not be all that bad either. And yeah, that could be a good sort of support partner, whether you're running doubles or singles and whatever stuff like that with Scovillain. So there you go, a couple of ideas. I'm just going to go over some final thoughts on this Pokemon. I just don't think I can make Insomnia work. It's just not a great ability on this Pokemon. It really isn't, especially being a grass type too. It doesn't really work all that well. But as for status moves here, some last sort of thoughts. It does get Rage Powder, which isn't all that bad, but the problem is it doesn't really have enough bulk to be a good Rage Power Pokemon. You know what I mean? So it probably wouldn't work that well unless you have Moody going. So you could get a bulky Moody set up and try and use Rage Powder with Leech Seed and stuff like that. You know, this could be a good idea too. Like, you could run it. Say if you got... When I can spell spicy... So you could boost up your Pokemon. Like, boost up that physical attacker, then go Rage Powder. So get all the attackers off the physical attacker. You just boost it up, say the Palafin, for example, and then it could start sweeping through. So that could be a, you know, a nice idea to use there. I'm just looking at some more options here. There's not a lot else it can really do. It can set up with grassy terrain. Yeah, it's not really doing too much outside of that. So just a few thoughts there with Rage Powder. You'd have to build it bulky like that Moody stalling set we're talking about. Something like that. That's how you'd you'd build it. As for special moves here, as you can see, like, this is another problem with this Pokemon. It is very barren too. So as you can see, it's got grass and fire moves. That's it. You know, you have to rely on a Terra Blast. So there's not a lot you can really do with it there. So that's another thing about this Pokemon, is it is barren. And its stats aren't super amazing either. It's not like overly bulky, so it's difficult. You got to rely on Moody. So that is a weakness with this Pokemon. You know, it is weak to flying as well, which is another thing. Another, like, physical, if you're going to look at the physical side, it gets one fire move, Fire Fang, which is a weak fire move, so not very good. It doesn't even get, like, Flare Blitz, so that's another problem. With this Pokemon, if you're running on the physical side, there's not really much else here on the physical side. It's kind of barren as well. So, overall sort of thoughts here on Scovillain, I think it's a really cool Pokemon. The best role I'd say this Pokemon can do is a special sweeper in the sun. If you're able to get that growth off there, you are going to pop off. That's going to do heaps of damage. I've already tried it out. Works very, very good. The problem I see is you might get walled, because it only learns a couple of moves there, so you're probably having to give it a Terra to add a little bit of, you know, add a little bit of coverage to your set. Whether it be, it could even be like Terra. I'm thinking like Terra Rock could work too, like for those flying types, and then any water types come in. Well, just give them a Solar Beam to the face. So there you go. There's another set, Rock Ground, that could work. There's. Yeah, I say this one working the best. And Moody's style set isn't to be underestimated either. If it does get the right Moody's up there, it is very luck-based. That could work. So I see this set's probably working the most in competitive. That'll be your best set. And this Spicy support set isn't all that bad. Like, I actually would give this a go in doubles. So you could really boost up a physical attacking Pokemon. And then what you can do, right, then you can use Spicy Extract against the opponent. So drop their defense too. So that could definitely work. But you got to build this one very bulky. Like, I'd even be inclined to use something like this and to swap up. I'd probably swap up maybe Sub or something like that. But yeah, that could definitely work. Sub for Spicy Extract, like something like this. You know, that could work well. You may even forego giving it attacks. You could go like fully just stall on it to help out the, you know, the whatever Pokemon, the teammate you've got there. But anyway, that's about it for Scovillain. I hope this guide was good there. I gave my very in-depth thoughts on Scovillain. I gave you know, lots of movesets there for you to try it, some competitive, some fun ones, a couple of team suggestions, singles, doubles, whatever format you want to play. Any of these sets could work for it. And yeah, that's about it. That's Scovillain done. A really interesting Pokemon. I wish it got a few more moves though. It's quite barren, you know. It has potential, but it is barren, and its overall stats there are nothing super amazing. But it can be a very good special sweeper, so don't count it out there. It can be a good physical sweeper too. A little bit barren on the physical only, so you could make a mix. That's about it, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.